subscribe. Darling Radio. Watch and subscribe.
Boom. Let's get Boom in here.
Hey, what's up, Tariq? You can
I
hear
can hear
me?
you, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. I hope you
I am.
good. I had one question,
Yeah.
right? You said there's 43 point something plus million FBAs. Now, when two Nigerians have a child here, they join that 43 million as far as the census is concerned. So, do you actually think that there's less FBAs than what they count due to all these Islanders and Africans that are first generation that get counted to that
No,
number?
see, that's what I'm being I'm being a little conservative about the number, because if you entered immigrants and all of that, it would be more black people if we're going to count just people as black, quote unquote. But as far as foundational black Americans, there are at least 43 million plus just of our lineage, okay? So they've already counted. I don't, how many immigrants are here? How many African and Caribbean? Is it like 5 million? I forgot. I forgot what the number is.
But I'm talking about born here, first
Yeah.
generation. From what I've researched, they get included into that 40 something million, though. I could be wrong, but I was just asking what you thought about that.
Well, right now there's a delineation that's being discussed for the census. They're doing certain documents now where they'll ask if you are black, if you're a black immigrant, if you are a descendant of slaves from America. So there, certain forms are starting to delineate based on lineage now. And when we were having the reparations hearings out here in California, for example, we were making sure that it was a delineation of lineages. We were just making sure people could trace their lineage back. But yeah, you're not if if a Nigerian come over here and have a baby, you're not going to be a foundational black American. A foundational black American is what it is. You can't become one. You already have to be one. You already have to be a foundational black American, right?
Yeah, but I'm not speaking of the lineage. I'm just speaking on the census and how they get those numbers, if that makes
Right.
sense. I understand the lineage and how a person with two Nigerian parents is not an
Right.
FBA. I'm just saying when they speak on the 45%, 45 million African Americans as they label them on the census, would that include those first generations? That was my only question and what I
Yeah,
was wondering.
they would probably be in the black or African American category. You know. So there it is.
That's all I
There you
had,
go.
brother.
Thank you so much. All right. Let's get what's that, Dr. Dury?
Dr. Duryea.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to give you your props, man, because I listen to you a lot. I've been a fan for over 10 years, and I hear a lot of your techniques when you deal with Dr. Nilly, when you deal with people on the space, and I hear a lot of Dr. Nilly Fuller, how you keep asking questions until you get the answer. And I implemented that, and I watched you do it. It's a master class if people really go back and understand exactly what you're doing, and it's really ingenious. But I'll land my plane here with a lot of them know exactly what FBA is. It's just a diversion tactic to confuse things. It's just like when people talk about the difference between when people always bring the Jew issue up to you, right?
Right.
And they always want to make a difference, a delineation from being white to an ethnicity. So they jump all over the place, and they just want to make things confused. So I land my plane with that.
Much respect. Thank you, brother. Let's get Darrell. Darrell.
Darrell, yeah, Darrell. How you doing, brother? I was calling, is the FBA movement kind of like the Chicano movement at Mexicans?
Not really. Yeah, not really. No. I think it's basically acknowledging our lineage and our foundation status of being the people who the United States was built on top of. So the Chicano,
Okay.
I think that's kind of a different thing. Yeah, that's completely different. So
Okay. And one more thing, brother. I was a enumerator for the census, and I did for the tribes out here in Central California, and ran into a lot of natives, and they were saying, welcoming me, talking about, brother, you were one of us. Like, and one of the elders was like, I was like, no, I'm black, I'm African American. He was like, no, we have Indians that was darker than you, brother.
Yeah.
And he was showing me some North Fork where I was at, and it was just deep. But when you go into casinos, the tribesmen and the chieftains is $5 Indians.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're telling.
So I was.
Yeah, they know what's up, especially out here. Yeah. But thank you so much, D. But yeah, out here in California, you had so many black tribes out here. Oh man, there was several writers who wrote about all the black native tribes out here in California. That's not a coincidence. They talking about the Ohlone people. And just go look at old images of California Indians. When I go to different museums out here in California and go to national parks and stuff like that, and they have these old images of the natives, a lot of them dark as hell. You know? Ontario, what's up? Ontario. All right, Ontario won't say nothing, so we'll get Keith Nixon in the building. Keith, what's up? Mr. Keith?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Keith. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Tariq, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I want to speak on this Pan-African uh, thing that's going on, man. My question is what you build from it. You dig what I'm saying? Come, nobody have never shown me that Pan-African came. What was the result of it? Is it just a club? That's a club.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's a you just y'all just going to the because I was part of it years ago, and only it was just meetings of talking about Sister Bessie gonna make the Kool-Aid and
Uh,
you know what I mean. What's the growth of it? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because nobody can really define it that well. They can't even define it that well. They just start calling everything Pan-African, and then it don't really have no true definition, and it's all over the place. That's the thing. Ain't no real definition to it. Then people try to tell me, but Tariq, you made some Pan-African movies. No, I didn't. I ain't never claimed to be no Pan-Africanist. I ain't never, ever, ever used that term for myself. I don't use that term. I've never did. Now, I'm about unity. Now, I'm all about unity. I'm cool with everybody. That's just what it is. I don't have no problem with everybody. If you're a person who's deeply melanated with woolly hair like me, I'm going to show you respect off the rip until you show me otherwise. I want to make sure everybody's good, unity. That ain't me trying to be under the Pan-African banner. We can respect each other's lineages. When I go to Jamaica, I respect their Jamaican lineage. I respect Haitian lineage. I did a movie about the Haitian history. That's how much respect I have for it. I didn't try to Pan-Africanize them. Respect their history. Everybody has their own unique history. We can respect it all and still have unity. I like to use the Crips and Bloods for an example. When we had the LA riots out here, the LA uprisings, the Crips and Bloods put them differences aside, joined forces, unified. Wasn't no pan gang. Nobody started to claim one big gang. No, they unified under their respected gangs and sets to go against the oppressive system. That's just unity. That's what I'm about. But with the right people. I'm not trying to be unified to a fault, you know. Who is this? Let me see. Let's get Gamma. Let's get Brother Gamma in here. Mr. Gamma. And Dark Knight, I was going to bring you up. All right. Let's get Let's get a few people in here. Let's get Dark Knight. Oh, wait, hold on. What's up, Gamma?
Hey, what's up, Tariq? Just a question. I know the brother. I think it's Arthur W. He's with everything that went on with the interrogations and the translations trying to give brothers and sisters this. Does that open the app for us to create our own Freedmen tribe? They've got a history of this gang.
Okay, yeah, it's hard. To be honest, I can't understand what you're saying, brother. I'm gonna get you back on. Yeah, it was your phone connection was extremely janky. It was going in and out, so I couldn't really understand what you were saying. But I try to get you back on in a minute. Let's get Leem. Let's get Leem in here. Leem, Leem, hop on in.
Yeah, yeah, hello.
What's up, Leem?
Yo, hey, I had a question. I remember a story that you mentioned a while ago about a woman who was in a town and the whole town um was in like some kind of a catastrophic event and the whole town is like no longer here.
Yeah, that was Julia Brown down in
Julia.
Julia Brown down in Frenier, Louisiana.
Okay, I've been looking for that story for so long. So interested in that. But thank you.
Yeah, it's deep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, look that up. There's a real
Julia Brown.
Julia Brown down in Frenier, Louisiana. It's right outside New Orleans. Yeah, the sister. That's why I tell you that majority shit is real. Y'all better not play with it. This sister was down here in this small town in Louisiana, and they were doing some discrimination against her and her husband. Her husband died, and they did something janky to her. And she told the whole town that when I die, I'm taking this whole town with me. She kept telling them that. And they were like, oh, this woman is crazy. She's like, yeah, I'm crazy, but listen, when I die, I'm taking the whole town with me. And she just kept telling them that for the longest. When she died, a hurricane came and wiped the whole damn town out. And they never rebuilt it. They were like, this town. They never rebuilt Freenya. When I was out in Louisiana, I went out there to visit that area. That place still got their asses shook. Yeah. That place still has them shook. They were like, we are never building this again. Yeah, we're gonna charge this to the game. Yeah, the white folks know what it is. Yo, Quay, what's up, brother?
Yo, Tariq, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Quay, what's going on with you, brother?
Yeah. So I'm African. I'm a Khan to be specific. I wanna get your perspective on a few things, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. I've been talking to a few FBA people for like I would say a couple of years on this app. I talk to Professor Allen and Wani kind of regularly, so they know me. And I want to know if you have an issue with Pan Africanism in like in the concept of it or in its faulty execution where you felt like Black Americans didn't get the benefits from it that it was supposed to get in principle. So is it more of an issue with the idea of Pan Africanism, or is it a problem with the bad execution of it? If you
Now,
get what I'm saying.
here's the thing. Define what Pan-Africanism is.
Solidarity between people of African descent.
Okay. How come there's no Pan-Africanism in Africa? Because there's too many tribes and everybody's divided.
That's the thing. A lot of these tribes are sometimes the same ethnic group and are just divided as tribes because some of them decided to stay in some different area or whatever. That whole point of there being 3,000 tribes or 3,000 languages in Africa is not something that I subscribe to. I speak a few African languages or understand a few mutually intelligible African languages. I genuinely think it's a point that white supremacists kind of use to make it seem like Africa is more diverse and more divided than it is. The word for meat is the same from like Ivory Coast all the way to like South Africa. How does that happen? You know.
Right, but there's so many tribal differences, and then it turns into tribal beefs out there. So you're
A lot of these beefs are recent. Well, wouldn't you agree with that? Wouldn't you agree that very little
no,
issues? Okay, I'm listening.
with respect, these are not really recent. They've been beefing for a long time. That's why Africa got colonized the way it did. They've been beefing for a minute. This is not recent. No, they've always well, shit, at least in the last 500 years, they've been beefing like crazy since the invasions and people running from this way and that place and becoming a tribe and then forming another tribe and forming another ethnic group. All of that comes from being nomadic, people running all over the place and not.
That's the thing. Not most Africans are not nomadic. There's evidence of there being agrarian societies in Africa for like thousands of years, like 10,000 years ago. Plants like yam and black eyed peas and okra and stuff like that. You don't produce that by being nomadic.
Yeah, you have all those different tribes by definition. You have those tribes by being nomadic. If you were stable, you wouldn't have to have all of those tribal groups. It's all about this group moving here, that group moving there, this group being amalgamated into another group. That's a nomadic existence. That's why there's so many different tribes, so many different languages, so many different ethnic groups because of the ability by definition, right?
Let me put it this way. There's Pan-Africanism to some extent, and then there's conflict to some extent as well. Would you just agree with that?
But we haven't defined what Pan-Africanism is. Now,
I mean, I said it was solidarity between African people of African descent. So
right.
I'm of African
That's
descent.
theology. Okay, so that's an ideal that has not come to fruition. The conflict is real because you can count the dead bodies. We can
Wouldn't
we can
wouldn't wouldn't
get
wouldn't some people being multi-ethnic be um a representation of Pan-Africanism?
multi. No. That's just showing people fleeing and running all over the place.
No, no, no. I'm saying multi-ethnic but still African, like being of multiple African. Because me, for instance, there's like 9 different African ethnicities in my family, not counting Black Americans and Jamaicans. But those would also be people of African descent, you know?
Yeah, because you're a continental African. So yeah, you of course you're going to have you're going to identify with all of the different African tribal groups. Now, people who have been outside of Africa for centuries, they've had ethnogenesis like we have. So, to require us as foundational Black Americans to be under the banner of continental African, that's incorrect. That makes us generic Africans. That makes us cultureless. We have our own unique, distinct culture here as foundational Black Americans, right?
hmm I mean, I respect that Black Americans have their own distinct culture, but I don't think that, uh, um, let's say, a Black American saying that he's of African descent um, erases all his culture. I think Black Americans have a lot of culture, if anything.
Yeah, you can.
But I don't think that
Right. I
anybody's right in saying that Black Americans don't have their own distinct culture. They're just one ethnicity among others.
right. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me get Great Black Shark in here. Great Black Shark, hop on, brother.
Salute to you, black man. Can you hear me okay,
Yes,
brother?
I can. How are you? Great.
I'm doing grand, fam. I hope I was well over there with you and yours. Respectfully to the brother Quay, I'm going to bring up some things that I hope that you really consider here when it comes to the idea of selling Pan-Africanism to foundational Black American freedmen. Now, one of the things that we must do if we present any ideology or concept to people, we need to have proof of concept policy or in practice that it works.
Right.
Now, a great example of this in the modern era, because as Brother Tariq is saying, it's one thing for us to say, okay, we're unified, we're all together, we're all together. We need to talk about what are we together to do.
Right.
Being together and not producing anything is worthless. Now, I'm going to give some modern examples. I'm going to give you two, Brother Quay, and we're talking respectfully here. All right. And you can respond when I'm finished. A great example of Pan-Africanism in the modern day to sell to foundational Black American freedmen would be if two things happen. Right now, if anybody knows the history of Zimbabwe on the continent of Africa, this nation was sanctioned because the people took back their country from the white supremacists. Now, if Pan-Africanism was to start and say, hey, this is why you should join this movement, why is it that the other 53 nations over there out of the 54 don't tell the Western power, say, okay, if you're going to sanction our sister nation Zimbabwe, you can't get any more resources from us anywhere on the continent until you lift those sanctions. And until you do, hey, we're not worried about what you're going to try to do to us. We're going to make sure our sister nation of Zimbabwe is good. We don't see that because, unfortunately, a lot of the Pan-Africans and a lot of the leaders of those African nations, they fear white supremacy to the point that they don't want to risk opposing it. And then we can extrapolate this to Haiti, okay? If we're going to talk about Pan-Africanism, why is it that African nations don't say, you know what? We see our sister country over here in the Caribbean is doing bad. Let's help them out. Same thing. We're not going to give you any more resources until you lift the sanctions and all the economic hardship that you placed on Haiti. So what I'm saying to you, Brother Quay, if we're going to sell people on the idea of joining something, we need to have proof of concept policy. And the last point I want to make is this. When it comes to Pan-Africanism dealing directly with foundational Black Americans, a show of good faith will say, okay, we don't expect you to drop your cultural identity, but to show you that we really want you, brothers and sisters, to be a part of this movement, we're going to advocate for things that we see you're fighting for here. Let's advocate for you to get your reparations without trying to be a part of it. And let's advocate for you to get an anti-Black hate crime bill. So those are the points I want you to consider. And with that said, I'll land.
Thank you so much. Great. Go ahead, Quay.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate the question. The question. Sorry, my French accent popping out. Um, Here's the thing. I don't think that in what you said you have an issue with the ideology in itself. You have an issue with how it's been executed. Again, that was my main question. I think the things that you mentioned are mostly things that African nations don't do anything about because they don't control what they eat. Like some countries right now in Africa have to import food from some places, or there's NGOs that claim to be feeding Africans, but then the NGOs are used to purchase things from, let's say, European or Western companies. And that's the system of white supremacy. This system is being backed by some people who are short sighted in Africa. It doesn't mean that these people are the majority. It doesn't mean that these people represent the bulk of the people that are there, but they are the people who are calling the shots or making these decisions. And it's the same thing in the Caribbeans. If economically, if you don't control even what you eat, how can you have a say whatsoever? Because just one decision could make millions of people starve or die. Because America is kind of a bully nation. I mean, look at the history of Black Americans. Anytime that Black Americans have tried doing something for themselves, America wasn't going for it. So how much more, entire nations um, outside of the boundaries of America, you know? So that's my short answer.
There you go. I got Brother McCall on here. Brother McCall, hop on. Brother McCall, hop on, please. Brother McCall. Oh, Brother McCall, where you at, brother? All right, I wanted my brother McCall to hop on in here. Oh, there he is. Brother McCall?
Great Minister of Code, how are you?
I'm so good, brother. How are you?
Excellent. Just living the dream and winning. You mind if I speak to Mr. Quay?
Absolutely. Go ahead, brother.
Excellent. Brother Quay, how are you?
I'm good, Mikal. How's Ethiopia?
Excellent, 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 excellent. It's been a while, huh, since we talked, right?
Yeah, been a minute. Been a minute.
Good. See you working on my tone, calm, relaxed. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, a real man's got to be stoic.
Go ahead, brother McKay. You there? Uh-oh. I don't know what happened, brother. Brother McKay, I tried to get you back on. I don't know what happened. All right, but all right, brother Quay. Thank you so much, brother. We're gonna wrap that up. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know what Quay's point was.
Brother Tariq, I wanted to kind of respond briefly to that, if I may, brother.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so the brother Quay was talking about the people over there don't control like how they eat. First of all, now Africa has some of the most fertile farmland over there of any place on the planet. Now, if the people are not controlling that, then that's on them. And then as far as like their leaders not taking responsibility or standing up, here's the main thing, and I'm going to say this briefly and go ahead and land. The problem with why they don't oppose the system of white supremacy or the West is because today, even though they're free on paper, people keep overlooking the fact that at least 19 African nations are willingly a part of the British Commonwealth. That shows that they are still mentally colonized. And so if they're not mentally ready to oppose white supremacy, then how are we going to unify with them when we are the minority over here and we consistently have a history of opposing this system? With that said, I'll let it drop there, brother.
There you go. Thank you so much, brother. Yes, indeed. Man. But yeah, Pan-Africanism, nobody can really define that thing. Nobody can really give it a real good definition. It's just unity among Black people of African descent, but ain't no unity in Africa like that. People over there aren't unified like that. We just got to be very honest. So it's basically an idealistic viewpoint that has not really been enacted like it's supposed to be. And everything ends up falling on us as foundational Black Americans. So that's what we're saying. We don't want to just bear the brunt of this one-sided Pan-Africanism. That's all we're saying. All right, let me go ahead and wrap it up, family. It's been real. Everybody go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com, make a contribution to the Hidden History Museum, and also go to rootworkstyle.com, get your Rootwork deodorant, get my book, Foundational Black American Race Baiter, at officialfba.com. All right, I'm up out of here. Papier Kute, Lola Movie to the family. Peace.
When there is stank on the streets, there's only one man who will bring the heat.
Hey, Rootwork Jones, why you got to split, sugar?
These musty jive turkeys think it's a game out here. I got to get out here and show them I mean business. Can you dig it?
None of these smelly suckers can relax, because Rootwork Jones is back. Is the return of Dolomust, the Sultan of Stank. His mission? To turn Harlem into a musty mecca.
I'm going to plant a must bomb in Harlem. When it detonates, everyone in Harlem will be musty.
Rootwork Jones has to shake up the block. He has a limited time before the bomb drops.
Word on the street is Dolomus's men planted a bomb in a Cadillac in Harlem.
Thanks, Mama. Can Rootwork Jones find the bomb before it explodes?
Where is the Cadillac with the must bomb, sucker?
Or will the city go into musty mode?
It's a couple blocks over that way.
Rootwork Jones is behind the wheel, socking stanky suckers all in their grills. Come see Rootwork Jones in Musty Inferno. Go to rootworkstyle.com for more info. Sucker.